Good morning, everybody. I hope everyone had a happy new year. All great things are possible to happen. Oops, I can change lanes. 2025 was, at least for me, it was a year of healing. No, I am not healed, but it's a little bit better. On Thanksgiving, it was a year that my son had passed. And 2025 was not a good year. I can't say it wasn't a good year. It was an empty year, so to speak. And when I realized that he had passed, it was like the wind was just knocked out of me. That was my third child, my third son. And it was like, I didn't want to do anything. I really didn't want to go anywhere. I definitely didn't feel like talking to people. And I just wish I could just crawl up in a ball in a dark space and just be there. But when you still have children to raise, you still have things to do, business to run, you can't. But that's all I wanted to do. And, friends and family, the ones who knew my son, they always say, well, he wouldn't want that for you. No, he wouldn't. He really wouldn't want that for me. Because we had made so many plans. We had so many plans that we were going to get together and do, as a family, me and him. And I think the saddest thing about it is the fact that, he never had any children. So there's no little one of him, a little mini me of him running around to keep his legacy alive. But 2026, I'm feeling better. Not all right, just feeling better. And it's time to get on my game plan. I've done my vision board. I wrote down some goals, personal and business. And I was listening to, his name is Pastor Mike. And I know that God has been with me for a very long time. That song never would have made it without you. Some of my struggles, I know I never would have made it if it wasn't for God. And I look back on those times and I wonder, how did I make it? How did I have the strength to make it? And I look back, I was in robot mode. 50 years old. At 50, I was raising $2,000. 51, $3,000. And at 52, I had $4,000. And the oldest one, he came to me when he was always with me and whatnot, but he came to stay with me permanently. He was 5. And all the rest was infants. And I tell you, the faith of a mustard seed and give me that extra strength, God gave it to me. Because I look at myself now, and I often wonder, how did I do it? How did I do it? Getting kids to daycare in the morning. At that one particular time, we had moved out into the country. Didn't have a car. My average walk to take the kids to daycare was average like 7 miles a day, one way. Because I left home, dropped them off, that was 3.5 miles, and walked back home, that was another 3.5 miles. And then in the evening time, I would leave and do the same thing over again to bring them home. So, and this was, daycare was 5 days a week. Rained, sleet, whatever, cold, winter, we was walking. And we did that for 7 months until income tax came. It was June. I had bought a little putt-putt car, and that little putt-putt car broke down. And it was June. The kids had just got out of school. And that Monday started summer camp, and for the oldest one, and the other ones went to daycare. And I had to walk from June to February, when I got my income tax, where I could buy a vehicle for us to ride. And there was some rainy days. There was some hot, smoldering days. I was up at 5. We was out by 5:30. If I caught the bus, I was able to catch the bus to the daycare, drop them off. Then I had to take the oldest one to summer camp, and that was another bus going in a different direction. I left the stroller at the babysitter. And when, dropped the other one at summer camp. Then I would catch the bus to summer camp. We catch the bus to daycare, and then we stroller on home. And it gotten so bad that a friend of mine had bought me a double stroller for the 2 little ones. At that particular time, there was like 1 and 3. So they were in the stroller, and the oldest one was, and me, we were walking. And excuse me, I rolled the wheels off that double stroller. And it was so funny because she said, "You done ran the wheels off this stroller." So I had to go get another stroller. And then after that, come February, income tax, I wound up getting a van. And it was on and popping from there. So would I change anything? Not really. Not really. Because that struggle made them who they are, and it made me who I am. And even though, to me, it was hard times, but it really wasn't hard times. I had my mental, I had my strength, I had my health. The kids, got up. To them, it was like fun. They riding in the stroller. They get to ride. They didn't have to walk. They could do whatever, and it was, one thing that I can say is that I raised these grandchildren the way I raised my children in the country, so that they wouldn't be safe. That was my main thing, is that I wanted them to be safe. I wanted them in an environment where I could let them outside, either in the front yard or in the backyard. I didn't have to worry about anybody shooting, anybody trying to sell them drugs, anybody trying to snatch them up. The only problem that I can honestly say that I had, that really wasn't an often thing, was that we had rednecks that would throw beer bottles or beer whatever and do racial slurs sometimes to the boys. But other than that, I missed the country. And I gave them a life of no fear. And I wouldn't change that for anything, because that's how I was raised, in the country. in the woods, playing in the dirt, riding bicycles, climbing trees. And I wanted that for my children, which I did give that to them. I wanted it for my grandchildren, and I did give that to them. So, but getting back to now, you know, those grandchildren are now 22, 17, 15, and 13. And I believe I gave them a nice firm foundation. And now, you know, they're into the phase of they're getting ready to start their lives. They're talking about going into the military, ROTC, not ROTC, Job Corps. So this is my next season. And it's time to move. 2026, 2025, I was devastated and I rested. 2026, it's time to pick up the pieces and start playing chess again. Strategize on how I'm going to finish this journey. But everybody, I hope everybody is staying true to their course that they have planned for themselves. And don't let anybody shake you from your plan, because it's your plan. And even though we'll say, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. God has jokes. You can put something in place and he'll put something in place of that. And you'll say, how did I get here? How did that happen? That's not what I wanted. That's not the direction I was going. See, you have a direction that you want to go to. But God has the ultimate direction that he's going to put you to. He put you through these changes to strengthen you, to prepare you for what he have next for you. Now, personally, the death of my son, I don't know what God has planned for me. I don't know what I was supposed to have learned. But I've always, and I still do, ask him for healing, because it still hurts. And I know it's going to hurt for a long time. But I'm getting through it. I don't cry as often. Like, I'm getting teary-eyed now. But I don't cry as often. The pain isn't as deep. But it's still deep. It's not as deep. But we got this in 2026. I got to go. Got groceries in the back. Got to go separate my meat and put them in bags to make meals. So, because the price of food is expensive. I go to Winn-Dixie. I be trying to get all the BOGOs that I can get to make this money stretch. But everybody have a good day.